Hi, I'm Tim Murray. My wife Gina and I own and operate Aware Senior Care, and we're a veteran and privately owned home care agency serving Wake County. And we provide companion, personal, and nursing care services to people in their homes, whether it's residential or community. And if you'd like to learn more about our story, please visit our website because that's what our website does. It tells a story about who we are, why we're doing this, and then our services. So you get to know us because in the end, when you choose your home care agency, you're forming a relationship that's almost like family. So wouldn't it be nice to get to know your family and what they're doing? And people tell us that's what our website does. So, please visit www.awareseniorcare.com to learn more about us. Now, if you're looking for a home care agency that's reliable and reputable, we hope to be your choice or on that list. And that's really the purpose of this video and the series we're forming about how to choose home care. It's an overwhelming and time-consuming task. How do you choose a home care agency? Where can I go to find out who's the best? Where can I go to read reviews? All good questions. My own experience 5 years ago, I was looking for home care for my mother, Emily. Went up to Google, typed in home care, Warren County, and was blasted with 4 pages. How do I choose what the great guys are? Where do I start? A great guide that we have here in Raleigh from a great organization, not-for-profit Resources for Seniors, has a guide. It's actually on our website, on our downloads, and it's the directory of resources for older adults and adults with disabilities in Wake County. Wonderful guide. Pages 20 through 25 have a list of home care agencies. And that's great. But again, who are the good guys? So let's talk about that. What we've got on our blog currently, and I encourage you to visit there, we published a blog in April, the 15 questions to ask a home care agency. And in that blog, I talked about my experience with mom, gave some pointers, and then gave some recommendations on 15 things to ask that you can rate. So the purpose of this intro video is to introduce quickly those points and tell you about a tool you can download to rate the agencies. The good news is you're going to form your custom list. So here we go. What's on the list? First is client reviews and reputation. You should look for reviews from the families, and there are places you can go to, like Home Care Pulse, senioradvisor.com, and caring.com to look for reviews from families besides our own website. Second is awards and recognitions. If they're doing a great job and great reviews, what are the proof points, as I call them, that they actually are delivering? And if they get an award, that kind of validates the reviews. So look to see what kind of awards. And we were blessed these last 9 months to get what I call a trifecta, awards from the big three in review sites, which is Home Care Pulse, bestofhomecare.com, senioradvisor.com, and caring.com. So look for awards. It says something about the organization. The third point is, what's their why? Why are they doing this? What's their story? Why is that important? You're forming a relationship with them. So I think it's important to understand why the owners are doing what they're doing and what their needs to them. The fourth point is depth of services. You want to validate that they provide the services, companion care, personal care, nursing care. But it goes beyond that. See if they've got experience if you have a loved one with Alzheimer's, the most common form of dementia, or Lou Gehrig's disease. So look at what services they have to make sure it's a good match. It takes a village. One thing we learned in elder care from the start, this is not a solo effort when you're working with a family. Look to see what other great organizations they team with or they will refer to help a family. And sometimes, a lot of times, we get a phone call and after listening and understanding what's needed, we'll refer to one of our great partners. And families just really appreciate that approach, where we're thinking bigger picture of what they need, and we know somebody that can help them. Point 6, communication. When you do call the agency, understand how they communicate with the family. Commonly, we've had a lot of clients come to us from other agencies where once care was put in place, they really never heard from the agency. No one ever came to check on them. No one's listening to their issues. So talk to them about how to communicate. We have a unique process, and we do a lot of checking, because one thing we learned is change is the order of the day. You will start somewhere making the best guess of what caregiver and what works, but invariably we need to make changes. So it's part of what we do very well. I think our staff does a wonderful job of making changes and getting it set where it's really working for the family. Point 7, how do you screen caregivers? typically when families come to us, we ask them what's most important to you, and it's like, I want a great caregiver. Well, how's that organization screening? Drug tests, background tests. So check to see how they're screening their caregivers. Point 8, how do they retain their caregivers? I think it speaks volumes of a company that has a low turnover rate. And we are in the upper 5th percentile with the lowest turnover rate in our industry. And I think that's important because families want consistency. And again, sometimes families come to us because the agency or what they're working with had a different caregiver every week. And that may be because there's a high turnover. So you want to kind of look for those points to see what they're doing to retain their caregivers, what kind of benefits to their caregivers. Point 9, price. Price is important from the standpoint of healthcare costs money. And we, up front with the family, after understanding what they need, kind of give them a ballpark of what this costs for the purpose of understanding how they're going to finance it, either privately or maybe assistance from the VA and so forth. I would not make this the point of your choice because remember the old saying, you get what you paid for. But it is important in the process. Point 10, what are the caregivers saying? I think it speaks volume of an organization when you can find reviews from their employees that they actually like to work there. Makes sense, doesn't it? I think so. That's something you may want to look for as you separate the average to the excellent home care agencies. Point 11, how do they answer the phone? Actually, I would say this is number 1. Once you skinny your list down to 3 to 5, make that call. How did they answer that phone? Did they listen? Did they establish a connection with you? So that phone call is very important in the process of determining who you're going to work with. Point 12, professional references. Always nice if references, doctors in the area have worked with this agency and have said good things about them. It's like when you're hiring somebody, checking references is just a good validation that you're on the right track. Point 13, case studies. It's nice that you can find case studies from an agency, for example, where you're caring for somebody with dementia. Do they have experience? If they have published a case study, it proves that they do, and that's just a very good data point for you when you're choosing who you're going to work with. Point 14, community involvement, giving back to the community. You might say, why is this on the list? Well, obviously we're going to do a short video in each one of these, but I think it speaks volumes of an organization that goes above and beyond, that they're involved in the community, volunteering time, working with organizations here in our community like Transitions Light Care or Transitions Guiding Lights or the Dementia Alliance of North Carolina, just to name a few. And the final point, serving our veterans. I'm a veteran. I served in the Navy. I come from a family of veterans. We're proud to say we are part of the Veterans Administration Choice Program. So if you're looking for care for a veteran, we're a part of that program. So please, if you'd like, review each one of the video segments we're going to do. It's going to be very brief on each one of these points. The good news in the end, we have a tool for you if you'd like to use from our website. You will choose to make that call that's important to you. Then you can rate that agency, skinny it down to your 3 to 5 and make that call. So I hope this has been helpful. And please, if this is valuable, give us feedback, or based on your experience, you think we should add some more categories, please call us at our number. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much and have a great day.